Hello, hello, and welcome to the show formerly known as A Simplistic Word with Elder Kirk, and now Kirk Chronicles. I know you're saying, well, why have you changed the name of the podcast? I said before, I'm not on a church mission. So if Dwight Kirk is not on a church mission, why am I using a church title? So from now on, the podcast will be Kirk's Chronicles with Dwight Kenneth Kirk. Thank you all for joining me. Our subject matter will not change. We will continue to discuss topics that we need to talk about. There are still things that we need to take care of. Now, what we always do is we always say we need to fix something. We say there's things we need to fix, but what happens is when it's time to fix, somebody has to be in the lead, somebody has to take order, it has to be a meeting, there has to be something set up, there has to be answers, there has to be questions. The problem is, everyone, that we're just not doing it. We will not get together to fix this because Elder Kirk has said many times, and we really don't talk about it a lot, but by society, and I'll be honest with you, from the time that I started from elementary school till now, and from what I've seen, it intensifies. We are built to fight each other. Now, I'm not saying, that biblically or anything like that, but just how our everyday interaction with each other, how the TV portrays us, how we are so dependent on information from others instead of learning about each other from each other. We are going by secondhand information. I was looking at the Dr. Umar interview on the Breakfast Club, and it was something how he had it, for us to look at it differently, and he was right. The ones with money move differently than those who don't have money. They have to move differently. They can't do things the way we do, because if they do, they lose everything they have. I said, you have a point. Now, see, it's funny. I could think about that with the, people that do the corporations, especially for the, $1 billion one I work for. But, never to think, celebrity wise, but, y'all have heard me say different things over the different years about different celebrities, what they can do. But one thing that you've always heard me say is that they are not allowed to make sure that a community or any of that money can go into the healing or the complete success of the race, because that's not allowed. That's not allowed because there needs to be a dependency on the government. Now, when I say dependency on the government, that means because I was looking at what Malcolm X said some years ago, and he said and this was at his time, we were worth billions. I'm pretty sure tax money or spending or something like that. You know how they take everything. They've been always taken from the ones that work anyway. And now I think so many years ago, they started talking about 400 billion or something like that. And then, we start talking, oh, you could do that. It's your fault. You're not doing better and stuff like that. But that's like I said, when stuff like that, and we get the leaders to start talking, and then, we start arguing, and then we're right back to square one. That's the problem. Stop asking these leaders and these people that are in these communities, start doing some things. And guess what? This will change. All right. So, I have a few topics to talk about, and they're not in order. If you want order, please go to the church, and because they always say stay on topic because you'll lose the people. No, stop talking for 2 or 3 hours, and the people will remember. Because if you're going for more than an hour, that's why you have to tell them to buy the CD. All right, everybody, let it go. Our first one will be Let It Go. This is weeks and weeks. I'm having a problem with one of my tooth, and I've been taking some medication and stuff like that before I get this thing pulled out of my head. So I haven't been really getting on. So I've just been keeping notes, and things like that. So our first one will be let it go. Let it go. Let it go. This is what I mean when I say let it go. When uh when we're dealing with apologies, when we're dealing with things that just don't get solved, when I'm talking about hurt feelings, do apologies, uh just for a lot of us, when the boss man don't do right, and you just know they don't listen to your suggestions, but they tell you on your job, you work, you see, let it go. Well, you don't understand. That's easier said than done. Why? Why? Some we just will not. We hold on to and we stay down so long because boy, we put that monkey on our back and we won't just get it off. It just sits there. It sits there. But because nobody else is going to get it off. Did you know when you go to see a psychiatrist, they just tell you what you already know? Wow. They just already tell you what you already know, and then you just figure it out, and then they keep you for about 6, 7, 8 years. Now, real trauma, no. Real trauma, no. No. Real trauma, no. That does take something. But I'm just talking about when I remember I did something, I didn't let it go, and I got myself almost kicked out of school because of a situation. And dumb, young and dumb, but I should have let it go. You understand what I'm saying? It was over time, and I went back and revisited, and I should not have. And that's what I mean. For a lot of people, some people are gone, and you're still holding on. They're gone, and you still got it. It's still on you. Let it go. And I know everybody, it's different tactics and different exercises and different things. But if you don't, and this is how you know if it's still fresh in your mind, and I'm talking from 80 to 90, and it's 2019 and it's fresh in your mind, you haven't let it go. Oh, I might forget, but I didn't forget. That's the problem. It is so far over and gone, and you still holding on, and it's still holding you back. Let it go. You're gonna have to. You're going to have to, especially if they're gone and there's no apology coming from nowhere. And then if the people have moved on and you're the only one still, let it go. We're going to go on to some government stuff right now. Would you imagine if we would stop participating? Could you imagine if we stop, if we don't participate in voting? You're so scared. People have lied to you for so long. And this is opinion. This is opinion. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of facts behind anybody, because there's always rebuttal in everything that we say. But Elder Kirk hasn't lied or has not brought a lot of false stuff to you or any false stuff to you yet. Do you imagine? Could you imagine we not voting? I brought some statistics up to you that I'm pretty sure that you think that are not true until you research. When you are the minority, you can't beat the majority. But majority, you can't. That's not possible. That's not possible. I don't care how many or what you do. When you are the minority, so guess what? There has to be another way. See, what happened was, and we always talk about our ancestors. Oh, our ancestors died and fought. Please accept my offense for naught. Why? Because nobody sits back and takes that step back and look at the wheel that consistently turns. Hope. I want y'all to hope, and I want y'all to pray, and you're still here. my grandmother's mother's grandmother, grandfather, grandmother, aunt, cousin, uncle, aunts. Everybody prayed. Here we are. Everybody prayed. Everybody pray. Here we are. The hardest thing for people that go to church is going to be the day that they find out that the church been brainwashing you all these years and you've been in a cult. And the worst part about it is you've got to go through the anger. The worst part is that you got to go through the emotions, the same emotions that everybody is telling you that when they left the church and found out what the truth was, you still got to go through it instead of going and handling it. No, I'm just going to, just believe that the pastor is my God. Just say that. Don't say nothing else. Don't say nothing. Just say the pastor is my God, and without my pastor, I can't make it to heaven. Just say that. Don't say nothing else. Don't say nothing else about the Bible. Leave the Bible alone. Don't do that. Just say I need the pastor. Without the pastor, I can't make it. Okay? We are not imagining a life without the line of voting. We're sitting here now, with these locals and these internationals and all this other stuff, and all these lies that everybody brings up, and T. Rump, the idiot of the United States getting impeached and all that stuff. Shucks, Bill Clinton was impeached and still did his term. So I'm not looking up impeach or anything like that. Now they talking about something's going to happen with the W-2s. Every time the government does something affects W-2s. They just happen to do something at that time. Come on, man. I'm getting off of that. I can't stand them dudes. I want to, as far as it comes to the job, I want you to understand the art of the brainwash. This is your job. I'm talking about your job. I've noticed over some years, and I've talked to many people, that we get to the point to where even though we know in reality that this is right, they have a system that you must obey and live by. So what happened is, me being an individual and a very smart guy, I stopped participating with the art of the brainwash. Now, this is what I mean. First, I started with the church, and then I stopped on it with the job as well. They will ask you a question. Well, what happened was, we had a situation, and our safety man came through. He wasn't very happy, so he started asking questions. Everybody was quiet. He'd sing. He saw things. He questioned. Instead of just saying what you need to say and getting over with it, he started asking questions. People started giving their side of the story. So what happened was, you still found out what the company wants. Stop saying, well, you don't understand. What I did was what I wanted. I don't care that, essentially. I don't care. Whatever the laws, rules, and regulations are, even if they stupid, dumb, and down south, southern, backward, dumb and stupid, still got to do them. So people, didn't have safety stuff on, and he was getting on them, and they said, well, because I do. I was like, no. I kept saying no. Nobody listens to me, because the majority of people are, backwards, and they don't think. I'm like, just be quiet. Let them talk. I tell them all that. Just stop saying what you feel and let them talk. Because if you don't, guess what's going to happen? They're going to keep on talking. We're going to waste more time. We're going to be here later. Now, you may say, well, Dwight, that's not right. I don't care. I'm there to work. I'm not there to keep listening to them talk for 15 to 20 minutes on what they call the preacher box, talking the same old rhetoric. That's 1910. We 2019. You need to find a new way. We are not, we're not on these jobs, with our individual thinking and saying, well, this works. No, understand this. When I found out was, we saw that they had an accident with, in another plant with the people that another plant in the company that I work with, and they showed the video, and one of the rings fell off a cement pipe. Now, what happened was the guy was wiping sweat because it was hot. He was wiping sweat off his eye. The ring just fell. So when it fell, I don't know what happened, but the way it hit him, he should have went down. But he jumped up and ran off. And the first thing they said was, look, he didn't pay attention. So when that was said, I was done. Because when the guys that I worked with at the time came in, they said, yeah, see, he didn't pay attention. And I had to straighten him out. I said, are you serious? The man was just wiping sweat from his brow. You mean to tell me for a quick second? And hey, right now, even some people, that's right. Hey, it's a backwater thing. Take it easy. If everybody wipes sweat, and stuff like that, and hey, that happens. You got to find a place to try to do that so you can see what you're doing, working with this dangerous stuff. So when it comes to the brainwash of the company, everybody, just do what they're telling you. Because no matter what you do or how you say it or how you change it, it's not going to change. So just let them talk, say what they're going to say, and continue to do your job. Oh, yeah, this is the funny one. My baby girl, Raven, went to a Pentecostal church. Now, the funny thing about when I say it's funny, because with any and everybody, including my children, I sowed a seed. And she went to, she was pretty much raised in the church. So when I separated in 2014 and taught on this, I said, you must understand, this is about money. Nothing that I said. That's why you don't hear a bunch of pastors talking junk about Dwight Kirk, because they know. How in the world can I go from 1980 to 2014? How much are you really going to say to me now? Now that I know that it's a scam and, it's a cult, it's very cultish. Come on, be honest. So what happened was she went and she was going through because she waited till now to deal with. Because, children are young, it's your children. They don't listen to half of what you're saying. They don't believe too much of what you say. They got to do it on their own. I don't condone that. And if that's the choice, then, I feel for you. So what happened, she went and she wanted to, listen to the teaching, because one thing she did is go to the Bible study, go to the big ticket on Sunday, go to Bible study, find out what they're teaching, what's going on, what's happening. And she said when she went, as soon as they started yelling and screaming, talking about, I feel the spirit. And she was just sitting there like, man, I just want to hear this guy, teach the Bible and whatever, the case may be. And she said then what happened was he started teaching, then he started preaching, and then it was all downhill from there. So she went back. She said she went back, and then he started throwing shade. I said, you gotta. Like Elder Kirk like Dwight Kirk. Oh boy, as Dwight Kirk always says, you gotta understand that I'm gonna sow the seed, and then I'm gonna let God do the rest. I can't browbeat. I'm not gonna browbeat. I've always been the kind, if you want it, go get it. If you don't want it, then you won't go get it. That's just how it has to be. Listen if you want. If you don't, then. But one thing, she understands now, from what she saw, because, I was called a Baptist penner. I said, I never heard that one before, but y'all know how I feel about denominations. And we have this mental health thing going on, y'all. We have this, and it gets touched from time to time, but it's real bad. It's real bad. And when I say it's real bad, a lot of it has to do with the church. We have been, pretty much raised to, I'm feeling some way. No, you can't feel that way. That's not God. No. And you have to understand that you went through life believing that. Nobody, but you couldn't shake it, but it was taught to you by the church. That's not God. And if that's what's happening, you need to repent and get on your knees and ask God for forgiveness. You don't think that has something to do with the way that the black community is messed up the way they messed up? Because the grandmother, and even the grandmother that raised the children that don't go to church, guess what? They held on to that. Why do you think now? I at least go to church and spend a few minutes, spend some time with God. Oh, so he's just at the church. Dang, I thought he was everywhere. I thought he was omnipresent. Dang on it. Why I be getting it wrong? We are not understanding. We're not understanding. We will not put our hand on any problem that we have. Because when we do, you know what? Here we start. We have to do something else now. You want to do something? Stop believing half the stuff that's not true. Not half, all of the stuff that's not true. Stop believing that what the money bags church got going on. I don't care how sincere. You understand? As long as the bills are due, guess what? They're going to do whatever they need to do. I told y'all before, Elder Kirk was part of leadership. I heard it all. If you put this money in there, if you put this money, then we figured it out. We got it. Because guess what? Like I said before, it's not spiritual. They use the money making tactic as a spiritual situation, especially if the need a new roof. That's the Macedonia call. Oh, you need this or you need that. I heard, hey, you invite somebody in, make sure they got a little money and, they bring some people with them. And because they give such and such, oh, I've been through all the statistics, all of that. You got to do this. It's not spiritual. It's all about the money. But they use it because that's the first thing they hit you with when tithes time come. Why? Micah. Not, good God. It's been so long. Malachi. And they hit you with that. Guess what happens? Boom. And we thinking that there's nothing, especially when you separate and you have to find out that all of that was a lie. That's not how God operates. I don't like speakers that start out with, it's like a bank account. If you don't put anything into God, you shouldn't expect God to put anything into you. And see, and guess what he's talking about? Money. I told you, it's not spiritual for them. It's just money. Separate the money and get to the spiritual. They can't do it. They got to keep it mixed in there. And we're wondering what's wrong with us mentally. Mentally. I will always use this. The pastor saying, instead of going to get your children, pay your tithes and God will take care of it. Getting your children's breakfast and stuff like that. Come in and pay your tithes. That's what we trying to get you to. And like I said, reality and spiritual. And you sit there and you pay them tithes and you can't get your kids nothing because guess what? Ain't nothing going to happen till you get paid again. My goodness. Why do we associate pain with God? We look at these, we listen to these biblical stories so much, and all we know through God is pain. Now, this is why I say that, because Kevin Hart don't understand when he said that. He said to them people, at the world, he said that accident was God's way of showing him how to sit down. So showing him it was time for him to sit down. And guess what happened? You know how many people say hallelujah and probably fell out in the spirit? I felt God in that. Why? Why does God have to daggone near kill me for me to sit down? Why can't he just come to me and say, Dwight, sit down, son. Don't do that. Stop. Turn it down. Now, I'm not, saying that he does that to everybody or anything like that. Oh, and for people that believe, but why does it have to be so violent? And I know, and I hear, everybody going there. Oh, you don't understand God. I understand because guess what? That's the only way I knew. Because guess what? That's what I was taught. Oh, when you cry, somebody got to hold you. Because I tell you about to break, you're about to bust wide open. And what happens? Oh, God understands and He loves you. Because all we know is associated with God is pain. And that's not right. Now I know what you're saying. Well, the Kirk, you don't understand this. This is different. I'm still saying it's going to take a minute, y'all. The white, you don't understand that, there's different situations and everything is not so cut and dry. That's true. I didn't say it was. I just said, ask yourself the question. Why do we associate God with nothing but pain? Something bad happens. Ooh, God is speaking. Come on now. Come on. There can't be. That's why we to the point now. Everybody's saying what? Something happens. We don't want no more of your prayers. Stop with your prayers. That's the first thing. And we still do it because, we pray. But that's something else we don't question. You pray over your food, you still get sick. We pray, that things work out and they don't work out. But remember, everything Elder Kirk says, there's a pastor that has a rebuttal for it all. Remember that now. Remember that. There's always a rebuttal for everything that Elder Kirk says, but Elder Kirk's not telling those lies or stories to you. Now, there's two things that I want to end off here with. And the first thing is, please take off Teen Mom off of MTV. Jesus Christ. Those are the worst examples of women having children that I've ever seen. And they've been on for almost, Lord have mercy, 15 maybe years now, maybe more. Please stop doing it. It doesn't work. If MTV, if you're under the impression that you're helping, you're not. It's just like, I was saying with Love and Hip Hop and all that stuff. It's all bad. It's this reality TV and people, they mimic it. They mimic it, and it's just god awful. God awful, but you just need to stop putting these women that are just making bad decisions. They're just doing bad stuff. And they just need to get out of the spotlight. People need positivity. They don't need no women that's just constantly doing bad, making bad decisions, either getting locked up or getting beat up by their husbands or boyfriends or, divorce, married. Oh, come on, man. We got to do better than this. And my last thing I want to, close out with everybody is we need to truly start, and this is something that I would love to participate in. We need to start, getting our children ready for not just college. We need to get them ready for not just college. The reason I say that is this. When I was in school in 89, it was a very big push. I'm from Baltimore City. And Baltimore City, I was there when they built the NAACP building. And when they built the NAACP building, they had scholarships and all kind of stuff there. And they were like, come on, y'all sign up. I was not going up because I knew I am not college material. That's just that simple. And I wasn't with it because I early on said, whoa, this is a lot of money. Wow. I said, nah. And plus I was the only one in my family in Baltimore. So I knew I wasn't trying to take on no debt like that. My goodness. And, so Dwight went to Job Corps. Thank God. And I'm not saying just Job Corps or anything like that, but there needs to be trades. I was looking at the news, and they were showing how the electricians, and there were the smaller jobs they couldn't do because the only electricians that were available that were independent, they wanted big jobs. So if a person had a home that needed something done or something like that, there was nobody available. Because now, like you said, young kids, they're not getting jobs anymore. They're going straight to college. And it seems like that's what they want, but guess what? Who's going to do all this other stuff? We still need welding. We still need plumbing. We still need electricians. You still there's I know this tech thing is coming up, and hey, we got people for that. They going to school for that. But we getting away from the trades, and we need to get back to them. We need to get back to them. We need to get our children. I was at a thing they were having for the school system. They were trying to change some things, get more money, get more programs added, and things like that. And I brought up this conversation, but other people also did too. And because they, gave us a questionnaire, we said, what about the children that are not going to go to college? What is there for them? Now, my daughter, she did something very amazing this summer. She worked with the Fayetteville City Police Department, and she has an app with them with the call center because she pretty much worked with them. So she has for the summer, she has some pretty good experience. That's what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Our local utility participated in that, Fayetteville City Police, and there were other things going on around the city. That's what we're talking about. That is what is needed. Now, the thing is, and don't get me wrong, man, if that's not what's available in the city that you're living in, get ready to travel. That's why I say get ready to travel. If Job Corps is the option, please, by all means. We're not understanding that the trade situation is getting back up on the rise, and we're sending them to college. Because I don't want to work with my hands. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do hard labor. And us as parents say what? We don't want our children, come on now, to work as hard as we do. You know what I'm saying? For somebody else. Now, the situation, the problem with that is this. Guess what? Just like we didn't prepare them. We told them. We tried to get them around the right people. But guess what? If that wasn't the move, that's not what happened. Okay. We got to do something different. Now, my baby girl, she's in college. She's doing a good job, and I think she's going to be okay. But we also got to, hey, baby, get you a little part-time, get you something, just when you get out, and, you in between, you got something going on. We are not giving our children the reality of. And I saw this even when I had people that were getting out of college when I was young. They went to work with their fathers and their mothers in different places. Why? Because when they got out of school, guess what? What they took wasn't available. It's still the same today. And remember, as soon as they graduate, you think Dwight Kirk is lying? When graduation comes in 2020, when you look at the news, see what they say. And they need to tell them to stop saying that. As soon as they graduate, oh, I feel for them. Congratulations, but this job market, every news station needs to cut that crap out. They do it every year. And I point it out to everybody I get the chance to. They need to stop speaking negatively as soon as them caps and gowns go in the air and they say, oh, I'm so happy for them. What a joyous occasion. I hope they can find a job. Man, wow. But I would really love to be an advocate. I'm a Job Corps graduate. I may work for another company that's $1 billion company and been there for 16 years. We need to start pushing and getting our children working again. Because if we don't, it's going to get crazy, y'all. It's going to get crazy. Our children are too busy being techies, and just because they can play video games don't mean they're a techie. We have to start pushing again to get trades. And I'm not talking about just seasonal landscaping. I'm talking about welding, electricians, all that other good stuff. So everybody, thank you for joining me on today for Kirk's Chronicles. Your feedback would be very welcome. I had a old friend of mine I grew up with in Baltimore. We were talking about he put a post up and he said that he was saying how, I think we were talking about the history. His post was talking about history, Black history and the knowledge and everything. And I said, yeah. I said, Black churches, I always say Black churches need to teach, Black history. And he responded and he said a lot of them still don't even believe in the color. You know what I'm saying? So he said they're pretty much disqualified for teaching. And when he said that, I said, I agree. You're right. And then I thought about it. That would empower. That's not what the church is there for. The church is not there to empower you. It's there to keep you docile so you don't say that's not right. And I'm not down with this. That's why, the church teaches you, to obey the president, obey the laws, whatever the speed limits laws is and stuff like that. So they get a ticket, the pastor get a ticket just like we do, especially Russian, the work order church. So, everybody, just, thank you. And thank you for joining me. And I would really, really would love, whether you like or dislike, the podcast, would always love, what I'm saying? You may have something, you want to discuss, or you might be like, Dwight, give me statistics on, this or that, and, start a discussion on it. As long as we're not discussing, as long as we just keep talking to one another and we don't get outside this box, there's not going to be any, there's not going to be a change. I'm not ordained, under anybody. I'm no longer, like I said, on the church. I just want to, discuss and use, these, I'm 49 now, these years and years of, to offer, to give up some, some knowledgeable things to these younger people. So I'm open. Yeah. If it has to be, a church situation, I know all about that pulpit stuff. I'll stand on the floor and, we can do whatever, but we got to start. We got to start because we're so happy our children are graduating from college. But when it gets back, when it's after college is when, the stress really starts because they don't move back home. And now it's, no, see, we got to change that. So everybody, thank you for joining me on today. And as you always hear me say, I still believe. I just don't believe the way the church. You understand? I just don't believe the way the church tried to make me believe, or they did when I was brainwashed. So everybody, I'm still believing God. I still believe in Jesus, and I'm just not going back to the building for business. So everybody, please have a good week. Enjoy your holiday.
Cause I need you to come and talk to me. And I apologize if I said I was waiting for my day, and it never came. It never came. I went through years and I finally got the from my dad. He said, where have you been? I fight for you in your dreams. Time that you spend. Cast away, stay. He said, I asked myself, what would you do without me? In the back of my mind, what would make you happy without me? Was it how I look? Was it something I mentioned that made you leave my world? All these thoughts in my head, insecurity became a part of me. A little boy so scorned because daddy's heart is free. How I love so much without returning. This love I have is pure, couldn't be free from me. And I think about the things I had, and I get glad, 'cause I accepted the call from my dad.